take the mask off.
Yeah, and the question is, I'd rather you not. Let's see if you're clear with the mask. Okay, this is a test to see if Hedy is coming through clearly.
I'm going to...
Wearing a mask, and the question is, can she be heard clearly with the mask on? Mama, talk.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, and tell me I can keep the mask on. Because this way, I am not dangerous to anybody.
Or endangered by anybody.
No, I'm not endangered because I'm covered at the moment.
Is she coming through clearly? Folks online, is she coming through clearly?
With the mask?
Are you hearing her? Are you seeing her at all?
The only problem is she's vertical, so it's not very good.
But it's working.
Greg is watching. Can you hear her? Mom, talk.
Okay, I'm going to speak my normal voice, and then I will raise it. Okay? This is the normal voice. Shall I? You can hear it?
You're perfect, Mama.
Then I can keep the mask on.
You can keep the mask on?
And I didn't have to wear lipstick. Now you'll tell me.
You're beautiful, Mom.
Okay. Tell me when I should begin.
You start in 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes, in 2 minutes, I'm going to say, welcome everybody. You really can hear me with the mask?
Yeah, well, you're going to have, so you're going to turn that off, right, or something?
Okay.
I'm timing you. We'll start in 1 minute for real. You can say something wise for a minute if you want to.
No, but what I could do is just stretch it a little.
Do you want more cushion?
No, but I want to open this because I feel like a barrel. Look what I did. I'm sorry.
No problem. Unzip yourself and I'll reconnect you, and then you're going to be live.
And I'll be unzipped.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
You are now in business, Mama.
With the mask.
With the mask.
That's amazing.
Break a leg, girl.
And you're going to do the usual with the hands.
Yeah, you're good. Go for it.
Okay. Guys, I think we're about to begin. Are we beginning?
We are.
Everybody welcome. This is a crazy night because my deck is freezing and not protected. So we're in Kenny's basement. And thank God for my family because I couldn't do this alone. I'm going to begin right now about this unusual week that I had. Okay? And I'm going to read part of it. But before that, as usual, I always begin with a drawing.
Do you want to show it or should I?
Yes. I'll just read it to you. Okay? This drawing is, I'm just going to read this part to you. The power of music. He wanted to be an actor, and then a friend invited him to come here. And so he became a man who, with music, also became a healer. If you see this, you'll understand. Okay? Okay. Because I would like you to go away from here knowing that in this time when we feel useless, there is so much you can do. What I did was, and this I'm going to read part of, the weekend was so unusual that I need to tell you about it. Because of my isolation period, until it is safe to lead a normal life again, I had decided to go through all my possessions as Deirdre and Mike suggested, and give things away which I could do without. This is a time of job losses and scarce buying power for such a large amount of people, and such a need for us to do this. Up to now, I had gone through some clothing, but today I went to my largest bookcase. I picked up every book, and I realized that I had forgotten that I had read, loved, and completely forgotten that they were my possession, that I owned them. We are living at a time when most libraries, train stations, community centers carry shelves of giveaway books. I always read a few pages of one or two, took a number of them, and needless to say, my bookcases are loaded. I had so much fun going through things, but what I found was a book that I had put away when it was given to me because it was small and thin, and it got lost. And the book was from Sanford Smith. Sanford Smith had a lot to do with my artwork becoming what it was, because at the beginning when I sat down on a city street to paint, I did it because I had always wanted to, but never thought that anything would come of it. After all, that was the Lower East Side. That was not a museum, that was not a big library. That was a corner of a city where the poor lived. And after that became acclimatized largely to people like the Henry House, the Henry Street House. And all of those you will hear about in my paintings. But Sandy Smith first recognized that they were worth something. And it was a very embarrassing moment when I was painting and he came over and somebody said, "Could she do a painting like that for me?" And he said, "Yes, but only for $2,500. At that time, I was getting $800. And I don't remember. All I remember is that I was so angry with him. And I said, "Sandy, how could you do this? Nobody will ever order a painting again." And he said, "If you would have asked me to pay $2,500, I would have done it." And I didn't know that I should then have said, "So why didn't you?" Now, years later, after reading his book and being friends with him, I realized I should have done that. Okay, and what I'm finding as I look at photographs and books, memories come back, especially in the boxes I have of photographs. And here's what I thought. I thought, now when you cannot visit with friends and family, your phone and letters, your computer and your voice through wires and screens is the miracle you can share. Do it and enjoy the gift it will give you. My gift was I called Sandy after years of not speaking to him and saying, "Sandy, I just read the book you gave me. I couldn't find it. I had too many things." And when the conversation was over, I said, "You know, Sandy, I didn't know you had a sense of humor. I never really got to know you. But the book you wrote is fun. You have a sense of humor." And he said, "How could I use it? We were talking business. I was making sure that you'd earn more money." And let me go further. Let me talk about the treasures of the things we have. Because we own memories. And unless we share them with a phone call, then you're missing. You'll never have this kind of a privacy again. The world doesn't want you right now. You are not needed. You are needed with the people who live with you, but not the outside world. Enjoy that freedom. You have the memories. I want to go further. I want to talk about painting number 4. Joni, is it here? What I did was, okay, these are the people. With painting number 4, I brought, it will be in the computer. Kenny, can you get painting number 4 with the computer?
It's on Facebook, Mom. I'll look for it.
Oh, great, okay. But I have it on my computer.
So everybody sees it.
Could you make that clear to the audience, that it's on the Facebook page?
So Mom's painting number 4 is on the Facebook page, so you should be able to see it. Meanwhile, I'm
Wonderful.
trying to find it on her iPad.
Wonderful. I won't tell you who owns the painting because I'm trying not to ever let people know who has the paintings. Except when I do the ones that Sandy has. He told me he wants them shown as he being the owner. But that's not until, I think, number 22 and 27 or something. We'll get to that.
I don't have the internet password here. So they can see it. You can talk about it.
Oh, you can
just
see it.
Can't show it.
Is it shown for them?
Kenny says
They
yes.
all see it on your page. Everyone sees it.
Wonderful.
So it's on your page. You just can't see it right now.
Because I could find it on my computer.
We have no internet connection.
Oh, we have no internet connection. Okay. Because we're down in Kenny's basement.
Yes.
Okay. These are the people in the painting. I will always sketch people. And at that time, I didn't know how to do faces in that tiny size. So I always drew the people from the back. It took years until I mastered my hand to do the tiny faces with tiny brushes.
Should I put these away?
No, show them one by one.
Ah, okay. So I'm showing these one by one.
Yes. Always the backs of people. It isn't until later that I began to do the fronts. You know, any skill comes slowly. It comes to doing it and not giving up. I never gave up because there was such a need in me to show people who we are. If we forget who everybody is, then we lose the world.
These are wonderful, Mom.
Wonderful. I would like to tell you about teaching, because when my youngest went to kindergarten, I suddenly had time that I didn't have before. And I may have told you about this already, but I'm not sure. So let me make it brief, but tell you about it. I called the Red Cross and I said, I would like to teach children who have nothing. I would like to teach them how to draw so that they can have a weapon in the world, against the world. Because when we escaped Hitler and went to Panama, I couldn't speak any language, only German. And during that long period of time where I learned English and Spanish, drawing things made people want to know me. And I gave all those drawings away so I don't have them. But I knew how great it is to be able to draw pictures of people and give them to them. And when I said that to the Red Cross, the lady said, her name was Mrs. Estabrook, like the fountain pens. And she said, we don't have anything in work with children, but for the first time ever, there's an opening in the Nassau County Jail for women, for any kind of a class. Would you be willing? And of course, eventually, my mother came with me because there were so many people. And Joni's going to show you my mother and me teaching a class of young women in the prison.
Oh my God.
You should tell the story about when she brought in things for the women to draw and what she said to the correction officers.
Okay. I always would bring things in for the women to draw because I didn't want them to draw from imagination. I wanted to really teach them how to see something and then transfer it to paper. And they did. It was amazing. But my mother once picked up some things to bring for them to draw. And they were weeds. And when the police, when the guards, when they checked what we were taking in, my mother said, I brought some grass for them to draw. And needless to say, it caused a riot. Language has different meanings, but through the books Andy wrote, I learned prison talk also, because a lot of the people who worked for him were engaged in criminal activities. So I learned a lot. He told me I can talk about anything in the book. When I'll speak about his paintings, I'll tell him what I'm going to say. These are all, this is the joy of my life. Sitting in the street and talking to people. And they ask so many wonderful questions, and I can answer. They all want to know, where do you begin, and how do you do this, and how are you going to do that? And I love it. So I brought those pictures with me. And that's all because I was looking for pictures from Panama. Do you realize how many treasures we all have that we have not looked at for so long?
You were so young, Mom.
Pardon?
You were so young.
Yes. I looked at the pictures and that's exactly what I thought. Did I really have that much hair? Did I really look like that? Was I really so young? Was I really able to sit on a sidewalk on a hot summer day for hours?
So great.
Do they show up?
Yes.
I'm so glad.
That's little Margaret. Tell Mom.
Oh, wait, that's...
Yeah, tell Mom that was the one before.
I don't hear you.
This was Little Margaret. Do you want to explain who Little Margaret
I
was?
would love to.
I'll put it up so people
Yes,
see it.
little Margaret sat next to me on my first job. We were painting roses and carnations on cups for the bathroom, on hampers, on waste paper baskets. And I remember that time we figured out we did piecework. And we figured out if you had to go to the restroom, it cost you 14 cents. Because that's the amount of money you lost in the time you went. That's how little we got paid. But she was a brilliant artist. I think I've spoken of her already. But I would go with her to sketch. And she would spread out a nice napkin or a little rug and put it on the step for me to sit down on. And then she sat down next to me. You know, if you were to see her, you wouldn't know what a great artist she was. And I've learned the moment you judge people because of why you met them, where you met them, how you know them, but you don't know them, and you judge, you're always wrong.
Can I show a couple more pictures of you on the street?
Oh, God. Yes.
Sure. But about little Margaret, we called her Little Margaret because she was so short, and I was short. So imagine somebody being shorter than me.
Funny you hope it's not with you.
All this because I'm in isolation, or I wouldn't have found all these things. I can't wait for next week. I wonder what else I'm going to find. I would love if
Wait,
you...
Joey, that's the painting. That's the actual painting that's today's painting.
Oh, this is today's painting.
Not this one, the other one that you did before.
Oh, is this painting number 4, Mom?
Yes,
Okay, this is painting number 4,
yes.
which is on Facebook. And that is a very young Hedy painting it.
You know, I love the people when I painted them because everybody told me a story.
Right, that's this one. That's right. Oh. Oh. Oh.
10 minutes.
I still have time. Good, 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 good.
And you know, you have to read the comments. They're so beautiful. When she's finished, well, let her finish. She's got so much to say.
Kenny, I don't hear you.
I'll read the comments when you have a break.
Oh, please, could you, because, guys, I have such a hard time with the computer, and I cannot find comments. But, so if Joni reads something to me, I would be so happy.
Okay, Greg and Hernan are watching. Ken says, thank you for reading your words and showing your paintings. Johanna Schneider says, hi, Hedy, Rona, and I here. Julie Williams says, hi, Hedy and Paige family. Kenny says, so glad it's working. Mary and Christine and Jess.
You have to read the full.
Julie Williams says, oh, wow, incredible old photos. Love them. Hedy, you were beautiful then, now, and always. Joni and Ken, you must, and she said it in capitals, frame one of those black and white photos of Hedy painting on the sidewalk with the more recent color one from the New York Times that the New York Times ran with the article. And Kenny said, yes. And Julie said, oh, these photos, they're priceless. Thank you, Pandemic, for giving Hedy time to go through drawers.
Yes,
And
yes,
Joanna
yes.
says, love the photos.
Thank you.
Okay, you've got 8 minutes.
I've got 8 minutes. Okay, then let me be very serious about this. We are all, as you see in the painting, all alone because we don't speak to anybody. If I were to be asked what the best thing is that happened to me in my life, first of all, the family that I created, that I helped to create. Nothing replaces that. But the second thing is the courage to sit on the sidewalk. Because the insults I got along the way in Yiddish and in Spanish, every time I began a picture in a new neighborhood. Maybe that's why I stayed in the Lower East Side so long and painted so many paintings there, because people already knew me. So they came to watch and see what the painting would become, but not to insult me when they saw the beginnings. But take risks as long as you don't hurt somebody. You don't need to hurt people in life. They've been hurt already. But if you don't respect them, they don't respect you. And then they mistreat you. I didn't know that I would become a good artist because I timidly began. And suddenly I gave myself permission to make mistakes in the eyes of the world and to learn that way. So, in order to survive in our world, don't judge, because you're always going to be wrong. Because you don't know what lies in back of everybody and how they have been hurt by judgments. The kid who was a poet in his heart, but he would be laughed out by everybody in his neighborhood if he wrote a poem. And so he doesn't write. And we cannot hear his poetry because he quit. All of us carry things within us that we need to present to the world. Do it. And if you're not good in music, and you're not good in writing, and you're not good in art, pick one of those three. It may be gardening, it may be cooking, but it must be creating. Decide to create something that comes from a voice that begs you, in you. And don't say, but I don't know how. Begin. Begin. I love you all. And if you have anything else to say, please do. Again, I need to say, I cannot answer you on Facebook, because anything which goes to the whole world and is not private, I cannot speak to. I need to speak to you in person.
Grandma? Joni?
Yes?
Hernan's watch party has different comments. Can I tell them to you and you can read them out?
Sure, I don't see them.
Yeah, right.
I didn't hear.
So this is Hernan's watch party and the comments that he has.
Judy Barnofsky is waving to you.
Judy Barnofsky is waving to you.
Roy Schwalb is waving to you.
Roy Schwalb is waving to you.
So is Laura Silver.
So is Laura Silver.
Deirdre said, oh my God, amazing.
Deirdre said, oh my God, amazing.
Sandy said, good evening, Aunt Hedy.
Sandy said, good evening, Aunt Hedy.
Deirdre said, these photos.
Deirdre
Thanks for
said,
showing.
these photos, thank you for showing.
And Deirdre said, wow, so beautiful.
Wow, they're so beautiful.
And Tammy Smith said, love the photos.
Tammy Smith said, love the photos.
Tammy
Smith.
Tammy Smith is the beginning of all of this for me by the question she asked. I am so grateful. Tammy, I love you. I love what you did for me.
Beautiful. And
You gave me such courage.
And on the painting of the Adler, she says, wow, look at that smile.
On the painting of the Adlers, she says, wow, look at that smile.
And Deirdre said, frame that.
Deirdre said, frame that. And Julie said something I'm saying again. She said, on those photos, priceless. Thank you, pandemic, for giving Hedy time to go through the drawers.
Thank you. Thank you all. Kenny, have Hernan send me the comments. Because on my regular email,
Good point. That's right.
yes. You know, I found out that I'm so afraid of technology, and yet without it, I couldn't speak to you. Then again, if I didn't have my whole family as the crew, I couldn't do Facebook. And maybe someday, because I want to live up to 100, and I'm only 91, so maybe someday I can hit a button and speak, and you will hear me. But just one button. Not the whole crew of people. Thank you. And you heard me with the mask. Guys, I beg you, there are some months coming up now of extreme danger. Please wear the masks. I beg you. This mask comes from Doctors Without Borders, to whom I contribute. Sure, let me give a plug. Because at the moment, the real heroes are the doctors, the nurses, the healthcare workers, and people on the street who help others. Thank you. I love you all. Goodbye.